What's going on, people? Welcome to Live Palace News. It has been a while. Last time we came on, it was talking about Glasner having potentially 4 games to save his job. I'm joined by Louis here to talk about transfer news. We are back with the transfer news, as you can see from the title. Cherki's been linked again, as well as some player ratings. As always, even if you're watching on replay, if you do enjoy the stream, please hit the like button and subscribe if you are new to the channel, as well as getting involved if you're watching with us live. Lou, how you been, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I was happy with the point, but it could have been 3. But we'll take the 1 and move on.
That's the thing, though. Like, before we even get into the whole transfer news and the player rating from the game, the mood right now seems a bit more positive than it did ever since. To be fair, since the Spurs game, I think the Spurs game kind of changed the picture. We kind of went back to the old roots of Glasner, and even against Villa, when you look at some of the players that we had available, and even those who didn't feature as much, you look at the bench, it's not as strong as it could be. I know we're going to talk about the transfer business that we need to strengthen in January, but the Corey only lasted about 60 minutes or so he couldn't even play full 9 minutes. And I guess the only frustrating thing from the weekend is that we were leading twice and we didn't take the 3 points. But then again, it was against Villa, who have been struggling in the last 4 games, now 5 without a win. Yeah, there are positives, aren't there? I don't know. Maybe just me looking at it, but I do think there were positives out of that game.
No, there was definitely positives, especially after the Fulham game. Fulham game was disappointing, but the squad was even more depleted against Fulham. But it shows how important it is to have a good midfield in the Premier League. Just the whole build-up play was completely different with 2 good midfielders in there.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, when Decore is 100% fit and you add Wharton to that side, that's going to be special. That's the thing that I've been looking forward to all season long. Even going into the season, I thought those 2 would be amazing in terms of like they're both press resistant, very good on the ball. And once we both, have them in the side, and I think that's going to be a massive difference maker as well in terms of potentially creating more chances and finishing them off. What's going on? The Dog. I love this name. It's so simple. Perfect. If Jack's saying, where are these rumors from? We're going to be talking about the rumors as well.
From Nixon.
Trundle. But yeah, Nixon. Yeah, it is Nixon. Let's start off with Cherki then, who has been linked with Palace over the summer. However, we're going to be discussing that as well, what happened over the summer in comparison to now. But Alan Nixon reported on Sunday that Crystal Palace are keen to sign the Lyon midfielder Cherki and hope John Textor can help with the deal. Palace see Cherki as the missing link to the side after the loss of Michael Olise to Bayern Munich. Lou, he's been linked with us over the summer, but over the summer, the main problem was that he didn't want to join Palace. So I find it a bit strange now why he would want to join Palace now when we're struggling even further. But let's talk about the player, then we'll talk about what we need to do in January as well. What do you think about Cherki? I think it would be amazing, but I just realistically don't see it happening, to be fair.
Feels a bit too good to be true for me. He's elite level player. Well, technically, there's like some discrepancies on his like if he could play in the Premier League or because I think he likes to stay in France. He's been linked with all the big clubs, Liverpool, all the much bigger clubs. But I don't know if could he come in and make an instant impact? I feel like some of these players, they come over and if he doesn't really want to join, then that's not the type of profile we need. But in terms of ability, he's clear of probably everyone in our team.
Yeah, and I think that's what we've been missing, to be fair, this season, the creative spark down the right-hand side. And in hindsight, we can look at it and say, the business that we've done, replacing Elise with 3 players, which were Kamada, San and Ketia, all 3 players haven't got the creative spark of Elise. Not just look, I'm not expecting a player to join on Elise's quality. Like, that's not realistic for Palace. We'll have to spend crazy amounts of money because of how good Elise was. However, we didn't replace Elise with another creative player. So even if it's not Cherki, when you're looking ahead to the January window, do you think that's the type of profile that we do need?
A part of me feels like we need a player who can do the 10 and play wide, because I don't feel like we can, at any point, we can change to a 4-3-3 with no out-and-out wingers. So I feel like Elise was that profile that could play a 10, but he could also play wide right. I think we need something more along those lines.
I be difficult though when you're looking at it. With
I
guess if you have that creative player, more often than not, they should be able to play out wide and as a number 10. We have Sarr who can play in that role, but he's not the profile that I'm looking at. So Issa, for example, could have done both jobs. Then again, would Eze be able to do both jobs? I guess if you ask him, he can still play out wide. So if you could bring that creative player, I think you just kind of do solve two things at the same time more often. Anyways, that's the biggest thing about it. Alan's saying should have brought in Hutchinson rather than Ipswich, getting them plays on the right, great left foot. Yeah, look, there's all kinds of plays that we could be sitting on here talking about. We should have got him or that. It's happened. But at this point, I think the most important thing is when you're looking ahead now, as we've approaching December, and we're going to be doing these streams more often than not, is that we need another number 10,
3 players,
another left wing back, in my opinion, at the minimum. I think
I generally think we need another right wing back as well. Even when we go to the player ratings, I'll talk about it. But Munoz is a great player, but I feel like we lack quality. He lacks quality on the ball a lot of the time. So I feel like we need a little bit of a different profile to be back up. Unless Kafora is going to play, but he doesn't look like he's getting any minutes because I can't see Klein keep coming on.
Yeah. Over the summer, I did agree as well. I did think like we need to strengthen at right wing back in terms of backup options. However, I never thought we would go for a right wing back. I thought left wing back would be more likely. It just seems like when it comes to the wing back areas, maybe we've underestimated as a football club in terms of how important it is in Glasner's system, because the wing backs, they provide a width. So you have one of Munoz or Mitchell not playing well, and if you don't have an alternative option, then that width is gone. It has been a struggle for that reason. It's much easier to defend against. You just defend narrow, and if Mitchell's crossings struggles and he can't put balls into the box, then that's fine. They'll leave players like that open. But the fact is, we don't play with wingers. We play with more narrow 10s, and the wing back options we do need to strengthen them. But right now, I do think it will be the left hand side more than the right hand side. I just don't see a club strengthening both sides. I don't see it happening, because I think they might go with Caleb down the right hand side as a backup option. Glasner spoke about it before the Villa game, and he did say that he's expecting him to get more minutes as a backup option to Munoz, which I like, because I prefer him over the likes of Nathaniel Klein, which I don't think offers much, and also is aging, so it'd be nice for an academy prospect to get some minutes. But down the left-hand side seems like more of a problem right now, especially with the starting positions with Mitchell. Not that he had a bad game, we'll talk about him in the player ratings, but it's just all season long. He hasn't had that backup option, and it's kind of catching up to him. We've seen it with he hasn't had it for how many years now, to be fair? When's the last time he had backup option? By now,
both our fullbacks just don't dribble past anyone. It can be quite frustrating to watch sometimes. They're both good, really good defensively, but as soon as they get into the final third, you just know that it's going to break down sometimes.
Yeah, and I think this is a very good comment from Jacob. I agree with him personally. I don't know if others do as well, but he's saying, don't know if people realize the wing backs also have to create in Glasner's system. Mitchell has been good given the situation and the skill set, but he's in attack, we need someone who can transform going forward. So yeah, I agree with that. I won't think we'll get, for example, an Nuri from Wolves, but a similar caliber player. You rely on your wing back, especially when you have 3 at the back anyways, to offer a bit more going forward than in defense. Like, you can take that risk, and we just don't have that right now. I think Mitchell's been fine defensively, even over the weekend. You've done a decent job against Leon Bailey, but it's just about going forward at this point and getting more goals and assists, which we simply don't right now have at the side. Daniel saying, fingers crossed we get the necessary deals done early January rather than back end. I think that's important as well, looking ahead, is the timings of these signings, because Glasner clearly hasn't been happy about the transfers that we've done and how late they've come. I think he's been happy with the transfers, but we signed them, in late August, basically on deadline day. So yeah, we do have to sign him early. But then he did also mention in his press conference before the Villa game that they did have conversations. So he put it out there publicly that he's expecting hopefully some of them to come January the 1st, which, when's the last time we signed a player on January the 1st? I don't remember.
I can't remember, no.
I don't remember. Then again, over in the summer, we did sign Kamada early and Chadi Riyad early, which I can't remember us signing players that early as well, even though it wasn't enough.
Except for Lerma. That felt like they tricked us doing that.
What, Lerma?
No, the Riyad and Kamada. Like,
yeah, exactly. It's
felt like we was tricked.
Like, we haven't even approached July yet, and we've already signed 2 players. Then afterwards, we had that massive gap from signing those 2 to literally signing the rest, and that's like
everyone left. Yeah, like 4 or 5 players went in that whole time.
Yeah, and it was frustrating. It was frustrating in that aspect. Man on guitar says, I think we need an attacking left wing back and we'll be fine. Kostic in the summer would have been great fit. To be fair, anyone who's attacking would have been great fit at this point, as something for Mitchell to look at and say, you know what, this player could come in and take my spot. Right now, Mitchell's comfortable. He's comfortable. Who's going to take his spot? Schluppe.
Yeah.
Like, who else can play there realistically? There's no other real options, even in terms of academy prospects. Like, who has played there? Who can? Like, Caleb's going to be down the right-hand side, so Errol saying, if you're Nketiah, you're probably never expected to be an at least a replacement playing as a number 10. Not fair on him. We need to address creativity in January. What do you think about the Nketiah stuff since he's joined? Because personally, for me, I think he's been playing out of position.
Yeah,
he's a striker. He's meant to be a striker anyways on paper. He's played out of position. I don't think he's had. I know some games he hasn't been as effective as other games, but I don't think he's been awful. Like, I can see what he can kind of do on the ball at times as well. But he needs to play up front. Well, I
think he might have thrived more in how we played against Villa, where Sarr played a bit closer to Mateta and it was more of a 2 up front. I think Nketiah would probably thrive more in that position, but not in the 10. There's a player who I think would suit us perfectly. He's plays for Celtic. I think he pronounced it Kun.
I've heard about him.
He seems a player that could be attainable. I think they only signed him for about 2 million. I think they got him from Austria. Someone like that. So with the creative ability, left foot, great finisher. Cherki, I feel like it's a bit just the same stuff over again. But with the amount of data and like stuff available, I don't understand why we can't find like these little gems as well.
Yeah, exactly. I think we will. We should. There's no excuses. Like, this problem has been going on pretty much all season long. Like, we saw it after the first few games. So in terms of like the struggles to create chances and score goals, so they need to be held accountable, those who are making those decisions, and that includes. I think Dougie's done great for us, but Dougie and Parish, because that seems like whenever Glasner mentions about speaking to those above him, it's those two. Parish and Dougie, and I do have faith in Dougie to find players. And look, the reason why, I don't know about you, but I'm not really worried about relegation right now is because we're not playing that bad. For example, we're not playing that bad, and also, when it comes down to it, you look at last January when we were struggling. When we do struggle, when there's a threat of us going down, even look at the time when Allardyce first came in, that January window. Like, Palace, they're not scared to spend money when shit hits the fan, to be fair.
What was that? That was Luca, Van Aanholt and Schlupp all in that January window.
And it did help. It did help. So now that we're in the mud, as we are right now, in a relegation zone, I don't think the performances have been that bad, but it's not about performances, because performances don't keep you up, results do. But if we do strengthen on a few positions in January, which I don't think we need to sign out 5 or 6 players in January, I think there's been enough positives right now, anyways, as of right now, ever since the Spurs game, to say that Palace can pick up more wins. You get 2 wins or 1 win, you can go up 15 from, I don't know, absolutely stable, but it's not like we're far off. It only takes a win or so for you to be out of the relegation zone. And I think this Palace side surely have more wins in their locker, if especially when players come back from injury. NGD saying Kostic would be a good option for left wing back, cheap, and worked with Glasner. Crossing is amazing too. He left. He went somewhere. Did he not?
I don't know. Has he even been playing?
I don't even know. I need to search out. Where is Kostic? I need to search that up. Daniel was saying, give Eddie the eagle time and he will shine. Eddie needs a goal and that'll give him the confidence and he'll come good. Yeah, I think so as well. AJ saying, Whittaker is the chosen one. Killer left. But there's options out there. There's players that we're saying as well. So it's up to the board as, to spend that money. And I do think that the problem with the January window is that teams know what we need. So when you go up there, you're going to have to pay a premium now for some of these players. Because, teams are going to try and milk the situation. Look, Palace need another number 10. they haven't replaced Alicia properly. So if you're coming for one of our players, then you have to pay a bit more. So that's going to be the only unfortunate situation. But that's the situation that we put ourselves in. So we have to pay the price for it. And that's on the club. Daniel saying in Glasgow, we trust best manager we've had in ages. And he will bring us some silverware. Talking about silverware, Arsenal sold out, Arsenal away.
Yeah.
Which is good. Are you going to that?
Yeah, I'm going. I'll be there.
Well, the last away game that I went to was actually Arsenal away when we got thumped 5-0. I haven't been to an away game since then, and I'm going to this one. So hopefully the 5.
Yeah, I was at that game as well.
That game was crazy. That game was like, I couldn't believe my eyes. It was so bad. Like,
most of my friends are Arsenal fans as well. So
literally. They had the banner out, everything. It was crazy. Jacob saying try Eddie on the left and Eze on the right. Rather have Eddie cutting in if we don't have a left-footed right winger. What do you think about that? I think that makes sense for Eddie, but I don't know about for Eze, because Eddie cutting in from the left with his right foot. I think it works. I do think it works, but I don't know about Eze down the right-hand side.
I wouldn't want to compensate Eze for Nketiah. I feel like we had to play to Eze's strengths, not Nketiah's.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't think Nketiah's, personally, I don't think he's been terrible, but you want to keep Eze in his favorite position going forward. So yeah, I agree with that as well.
I think you could maybe get away with a 4-4-2, maybe if you're chasing a game and have Eddie and Mateta up front. If you've got Wharton and Decore in midfield.
Yeah, exactly. That you need those two fit, and Wharton should be back hopefully after the Newcastle one. Maybe Ipswich or City. City. I think City. He should be back for City. Which, I mean, City right now they're not looking that great. So if you have fit Decore and Wharton, let's see. It depends on Eze as well. Should we move on to the player ratings? Let's go through some comments and then we'll move on to the player ratings. Caleb saying Carney loan option to buy can play both number 10 roles, and Alan's saying we've got money from the summer sales and a loan place. Yeah, I think we've got funds.
But I think we spent last January's money in what was the budget for summer. A lot of it went on Wharton and Munoz, and it's going to be the same thing again.
Yeah. It's like we're kind of lagging behind in terms of like the spending, etc. But yeah, I think even if we don't have money, they'll miraculously have money all of a sudden if we're struggling as we are right now. So I'm not really as worried about that. Now, let's move on to the Villa player ratings. Unfortunately, the graphics have not arrived yet. They will be arriving soon, the new graphics for the player ratings, but we're going to have a discussion, so make sure to get involved as well. Let's start off with Dean Henderson. I'm going to give him I haven't decided between an 8 or 9.
I gave him an 8.5.
8.5, yeah. That makes sense, because I can't decide between 8 and 9, so 8.5 makes sense. That penalty save was massive, and he's grown into this Palace side, because when he first joined, there were a few mistakes here and there, and I was a bit, worried about Sam Johnson versus Henderson. There's 2 number ones there. Is the pressure too much? But he looks like a leader in a way in the dressing room. Even when you listen to him in his post-match interview, like he's actually enjoying his time at Palace. And that save was massive. Without that save, I don't know if we get a point out of that game, if we go 2-1 down in the first half after being 1-0 up. Because even when we were leading, you can tell the confidence was hurting a bit. And yeah, I mean, he's helped us out massively. And I can't give him a 10. We conceded 2 goals.
Yeah, I would have given him a 9 if he didn't concede 2 goals. I would have given him a 9.
Yeah,
I think he's clearly a confidence player, and he's got a lot of confidence. And when I was at the Forest game, the Watkins shot was probably a more difficult save than a Wood shot, but it was like very similar, that near post, and he got down well. I think that gave him a lot of confidence. So yeah, it was a good performance, and the knee slide was good.
Yeah, the knee slide is actually what a celebration. You never see a goalie doing the knee slide for celebrations. Let's move on to let's start with the wing backs before we move on to the 3 centre backs. Let's start off with Mitchell down the left hand side. I thought he done a good job defensively on Bailey for the large parts of the game, but I don't know about going forward. He only had 1 out of 4 accurate crosses, 59% passing accuracy, so it wasn't great there. Only 13 out of 22 passes successful. He played the 90 minutes, of course. I want to leave more towards like a 6.5.
I give him a 5.
Yeah, 5. How comes?
Possession lost 17 times. I think
Mm.
it's way too high for our wing backs. Like I said, defensively, he didn't get dribble past once.
Yeah, I
But
can't remember. It's so good. Yeah.
we just need more. I think a 5 is fair because for his defensiveness. But like you said, 59% pass completion and losing the ball 17 times. I can't really give him more than a 5.
Yeah, that's the problem. We spoke about it earlier on. It's just he doesn't have the. We don't have the option. We don't have the option to bench Mitchell if we need to,
No.
and give him something to think about. It's just when you're not going to grow as a player if you have no competition in your position, and we haven't done a good enough job in terms of finding a backup option for Mitchell. But yeah, going forward, it wasn't good enough. So
yeah, zero take-ons again.
I thought it was very good though. I think defensively he was very good.
Yeah.
That's why I just gave him a bit higher than 5.
I still don't think he's completed a dribble this season.
Yeah.
Surely. No, he hasn't. He hasn't gone past a player a completed dribble this season, I don't think.
Just breaking news right now. Let's stop the Mitchell stuff. Breaking news coming from Daily Mail that Sportsbank, £230 million Crystal Palace buyout funded by Abu Dhabi and American money. London Group in strong position ahead of crucial talks, but Stanley Tang still in the mix. Sportsbank keen to invest in squad. Parish, Blitzer, Harris offer chance to make an offer. So it seems like right now, the global investment group, Sportsbank, will be bankrolled by Abu Dhabi and American money as they move close to a £230 million deal to purchase a majority stake in Crystal Palace. However, as the reports are suggesting, Parish, Blitzer, and Harris have been offered a chance to make another offer.
To match it.
That's massive. That's massive.
Yeah,
Let's stop
with
player ratings because that's bigger than player ratings right now.
Yeah.
It's good that it's happened whilst we're live on air, but your thoughts on that?
Well, listen, as long as Texas out and there's funding and it isn't anything dodgy, then I'm all aboard.
Yeah, it's interesting because it'll be American money and Abu Dhabi as well combined. They're an investment group. They are in London. Well, I think they're going to be in London for crucial talks. So yeah, it seems like things are progressing a bit more. But also another element of the story right now that's been breaking is that Parish, Blitzer, and Harris have been offered a chance to make another offer. So what's your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts on keeping those three?
Harris and Blitzer they've got the money. I think they're worth like 6-7 billion. It's just
they've got the money, exactly. They've got the money. So
if they was to invest in a squad, I'd prefer Harris and Blitzer to take it.
Yeah,
because I think they trust Parish as well.
Yeah, let's see if they actually match it though. Let's see if they actually match it. That's the thing, because Parish works well with Blitzer and Harris.
That's what I was thinking.
They're kind of giving him the green light. Parish, you know what you're doing. You run the football club. We're just happy sitting back.
Yeah.
And I think that dynamic works. Whereas you bring in Sportsbank, the biggest question mark for me would be the money sounds great when you have an American plus Middle Eastern money. That's like, both sides of the world in terms of funds. So that shouldn't be a problem. However, will they be happy to be in a similar position as Harris and Blitzer in terms of letting Parish run the football club, or would they want more of a say? That's the biggest thing for me, because that's where the Texas problem lies right now. Is the fact that he wants a bit more of a say because of the amount of shares he owns. However, when Harris and Blitz are not, they don't want to go down that route. They just want.
What do they want out of it as well? Because I think most people know that owning a football club, you're losing money constantly. It's not a profit-making business. So are they investing? What are they investing this for?
Yeah. Well, I guess there's the potential of Palace, to be fair. You got the new stadium, expansion plans. Hopefully that should be happening soon. Well, it's been confirmed anyway, so works have already started. So that will be in about a few years' time. And then, it's not easy, though. The Premier League is not easy in terms of trying to break into that top 10 clubs with the amount of money that's been involved now. But that's interesting that, talks are progressing and they are close. They are close to a deal being sorted. So if you have any thoughts on that, please let us know in the comment section and in the live comment section down below as well. Daniel saying massive news to all Palace fans. Fingers crossed it's a positive outcome. AJ saying anything but Texter. Yeah, we just have to move on from Texter. We just have to move on from Textor. But the talks will be taking place this week. This is from the Daily Mail, with a major step forward towards taking a stake in Palace. The investment firm are prepared to make funds available in the January transfer window as well. So perfect timing for this story to break, because we've been literally talking about the January transfer window. So they are prepared to make funds available for this transfer window, and talks will be taking place this week. Of course, we'll be on here as the news breaks. I'm discussing it also. It seems like a busy week in that aspect as well. But let's see what happens with Parish and Harrison Blitz as well, whether they go in. I guess it helps us though in a way if we have Sports Bank in terms of the January funds.
Definitely.
Yeah, the biggest question is, what do they want from Palace, right? That's the one thing that I guess we can't really answer. Well, if it's an investment firm, probably good return on investment. But how do you get a good return on investment?
I know.
How are you going to get that? So you get that maybe by the revenues growing from the club expansion. Of course, European football would help, but these are things that Palace haven't done yet. So it's just unknown. George saying another player that has no experience in the Prem, which is kind of worrying. Like I haven't heard much of him since we were last linked. That's talking about Cherki. But right now, we're just talking about the breaking news about potential, crucial talks this week with a major step forward about Sports Bank potentially buying out John Textor's shares with money from Abu Dhabi as well as American there with the reports suggesting that. So let's see what happens. But anyways, if there's more coming in, then we'll talk about that. Munoz, let's go back to their ratings.
Do you know what? I give Munoz a 5 as well, you know.
What's up with him?
Like, I love Munoz. I think he's a quality player, but I really think he's better when he hasn't got the ball, when he's pressing high, when he's making unselfish runs, tracking back, defending, tackling. But as soon as he's on the ball, I don't feel like there's a real lack of quality. He lost the ball 16 times as well, 52% accurate passing. Like I said, great work rate, brilliant off the ball. But do you remember when Schlupp had the shot off the post and it rebounded to him, and it was like a kind of falling over shot? There was no composure. He could have taken a touch and got a clear shot on goal. Even in the past few weeks, some of his crossing can be really bad. So, but like I said, I'm a big Munoz fan. I don't like to pick holes, but I feel like, he needs to improve on his quality in the final third.
Is he missing that attacker play in front of him? Because he looks better with Elise. I think that could be a part as well.
But his unselfish runs also made Elise create so much more space. Like I said, he's such a threat off the ball for what he does and his engine. But I just feel like when he's on the ball, there's just a clear lack of quality.
Yeah, I think Mitchell, I don't know about you, but I think Mitchell done a better defensive job. Well, I don't know. It kind of stood out more to me anyways. I don't know about the stats.
Yeah, I think Munoz got dribbled past 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. So for that reason, I'm going to give Munoz a lower rating than Mitchell. I give Mitchell 6.5. I'm going to give Munoz a 5.5 because, I do think going forward, it wasn't that great. I think with the wing backs, we have been struggling. But out of possession, he wasn't bad in terms of pressing. Maybe I could give him a 6 as well. But
I think we've been starved.
There's something missing right now. And I think I truly believe there's a player in front of him. Because once you put in a creative player, teams can't defend Munoz as they are right now. And it gives a bit more space for him to do his own thing going forward. So I think.
But I don't want to fans to think, we're picking at holes. Like, I generally think he's a really good player and he should start for us.
Is an improvement to what we had.
But if you've watched even like Fulham last week, 1-on-1 with the goalie, 1-0 to make it 1-0, and it's just a tame shot. Do you know what I mean? So he gets himself in good positions, but it's just. Yeah, he needs to improve on that final ball.
Yeah, and I think he will. He's been a solid player for us since joining. It's definitely helped us. I don't think this Palace side are what they are without Munoz. If it's Klein or Ward playing there, I think we are worse. We're worse off.
Yeah,
for different reasons. With the centre backs, let's start with Lacroix. It's so weird giving him his rating, but let's see what you do because
I gave him a 7.5.
Yeah. 7.5. And I think if it wasn't for that mistake, that could have been easily. Well, I don't know. We'll get your opinion on that. But
he had 8 clearances, 3 interceptions, 5 tackles, 1 mistake for the goal, but 2 goal-saving tackles in the second half of Watkins. So I think that kind of evens it out. But then what took him from an 8 to a 7.5 was his passing wasn't top notch on Saturday. He only had 70% accurate passing. But yeah, if he just fine tunes his little mistakes, what a player.
Exactly. But the thing is, I think he will. He's still young.
Yeah.
He's 24, I think. And yeah, I gave him an 8. The reason for that is, which is crazy to me, because I was so annoyed by that mistake in the first half. It was like,
I understand why he did it though, because
I guess
about
as
5
well,
times before he got it every single time.
Yeah.
He just went out a bit too slow. It's like he realized he could go. Then by the time he'd got there, it was over.
But then afterwards, you look at some of the tackles that he made. Without him, we also lose that game. Like, yes, he made a mistake that led to a goal, and I understand why he done it. But I can't give it. I know his passing wasn't great, but I just, as a defender, I can't give him lower than an 8. I just can't, because
yeah, he was a monster. 7.5 might be. I think I've been a bit harsh, but
he was unbelievable. And you can see why. I don't know. Maybe people disagree, but I see why Lacroix is in the side ahead of Joachim Andersen. You look at that.
Oh
pace.
yeah.
That's the difference maker. That pace is the difference maker, and he's helped us out massively. So yeah, Lacroix had a very good game. What about Gahey? I'm gonna give. I'll start off with Gahey. Then you can give your rating.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give Gahey a 7.5 as well, or maybe I'm close to giving him an 8, because I just thought he was solid down the left hand side. I don't remember that much.
I give Gahey an 8. I think he's the best centre half I've ever seen at Palace. I think he's so consistent. 87% pass completion, no mistakes, dribble past once. And what took him from a 7.5 to an 8 for me is the ball into Mateta for the first goal. His left foot first time perfectly into his feet, and I don't think any other centre backs did anything like that.
Yeah, and he's been good for us down the left hand side. He's been very.
That's his weaker foot as well. Like he doesn't really have a weaker foot.
Yeah, and I thought he played well once again against Villa. I think defensively, look, it's weird because I don't think we are performing bad at all. It's just a mistake. Just a mistake. Look at both the goals. I mean, the corner one is unfortunate. I think we could have defended better.
Great header.
Great header. And the first one, we literally spoke about Lacroix. It's just small stuff we cut it out, and then we could see less goals and start winning some of these games. Look at the Fulham. I mean, in that Fulham game, up until they scored that goal, which Lacroix gave it away, it was a mistake. It wasn't that bad. Like, we could have potentially left there with a point. Then afterwards, we could see that goal. Head's gone. Second half, Kamada gets a red card as well. It's game over, and it's tight margins. It's been tight margins this season. Look at Mateta as well. We'll talk about him against Fulham, and even in this game. But it's very close to scoring. Chalobah for you?
Chalobah, I gave a 6. I thought he only 67% pass completion. I gave him a 6 because there was no big mistakes, but there was nothing outstanding. And I feel like he needs to join the attack a bit more, help out Munoz. That right centre back when they step forward a bit. Yeah. I think he needs to do a bit more of that. But like I said, he didn't do anything bad. He didn't do anything great.
Yeah. Alan's given a 6 as well. Daniel's talking about Gay needs to sort out his contract situation. And our socials is literally right under our names, the Palace _ and Lou. His socials literally there at Lou KF93 as well. So if you want to follow us there, feel free to do so. But yeah, Chalobah, I agree. I think he was a bit lower than the other defenders, especially Lacroix and Gahey. I'll give him 6.5. But
there's a few hesitations as well, I think, in the second half. Do you remember? Like, they were so close to like giving away a goal, but like I said, there wasn't anything too bad with his performance, but he didn't really do much.
Okay. Let's talk about the midfield. Decore. I personally, I feel like he quietly had a good game. I don't know about the stats. I'm gonna look at the stats right now, but I thought he quietly had a good game.
I gave him an 8.
Give him an 8. Yeah, 8. I want to give him like a 7.5.
The composure for that goal.
Yeah, that pass for the second goal, he could have made that pass. Look, other players would have made that pass before going around the player, and he might have been blocked off.
Yeah,
but he takes his time.
That split second
Goal. Exactly. And I think Decore, even in terms of his passing, accurate passes, 82%. It's not that bad. So yeah, it's 82%.
Wasn't dribble past. Didn't commit one foul.
Some people are saying he was a bit slow. What's your thoughts on that?
I didn't think he was that slow. I think, and that's the longest he's played since he ruptured his Achilles.
Yeah,
he's not going to be super sharp. I don't know what people expected of him. He was still faster than Hughes.
yeah, exactly. Like he hasn't played properly for a year now, basically. So since that injury against Luton, so yeah, I'm not expecting him to be like 90 minutes fit, running about as the older Corey. I think he'll reach that level, but you just need some game time and consistent game time because injuries hasn't helped him. But I think he controlled that midfield well, and he was good in that area. And by the way, another update. I know we're going back and forward between John Textor news and the player ratings, but it's only right because it's big news. Is that Textor is said to be satisfied that Sportsbank have the necessary funds to buy his stake, and the club believed to like the idea of selling to a group that includes Palace supporters. So Texas is said to be satisfied, and apparently there's Palace supporters within that group as well, which is interesting. Look, let's see. There could be a massive change in terms of the ownership structure with Texas leaving, which we've known for a while, and Sportsbank coming in, and Texas is happy. Happy. So let's see what actually happens with them talks this week. So yeah, and also having Palace fans within that group is also more exciting. Imagine money plus fan. That's what you want.
I'm a bit skeptical when they say it's Palace fans. It's like
exactly.
I have to give them a quiz. Let's see if you're really a Palace fan.
Let's see. They should hold a quiz in the crisis or whatever talks they're having. Let's see how many Palace trivia questions they get right.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to player ratings. Decore, I thought he had a solid game. Will Hughes, for you? I mean, he didn't get a yellow card till I can't remember what minute, but
he did get one. Yeah.
Well, he got one. No, he didn't get one.
Yeah, that's what I didn't. I don't think he got one. No.
Yeah. I thought I think he was in the second half. I thought he might have got not red card, yellow card. But overall, he was composed. We needed him to be composed off the ball, especially because he picks up those yellow cards more often than not, and it's actually led to suspension. But 66% passing accuracy, not the greatest. However, 7 out of 16 ground duels won. He was kind of more involved defensively, the defensive duties.
I give him a 6. He lost the ball 13 times. But I think, like I said, sometimes stats tell a story. But when I was actually watching the game, I actually thought he had a decent game. But if you look at the stats, it doesn't really show he had a great game. But just the fact that the solidarity between him and Decore, we look so much better. So I'm happy with his performance.
Yeah, I'm happy as well. I'm going to give him 6.5 because I did think he wasn't that bad. But of course, the possession loss as well. That's not that great. But defensively, he done a good job. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to give him a 7. 6.5 still feels a bit low for me. Now let's talk about the front three. So let's start off with Deveni. Gets the goal, but even apart from the goal, the thing that impresses me the most, and I'm going to give him a 8. You know what? I'm going to give him an 8.
I gave him an 8 as well.
Yeah. The reason for that is because, yes, he scored a goal, which is fantastic, but he looks like he's ready. With young players, some of the young players, they might have the technical ability. However, they might struggle to carry the instructions by the manager for like tactical reasons. They need to adjust, for example, to that life. However, in the last 2 games, he just seems natural. He looks natural. Even in the Villa game, he looked natural. Yes, he scored a goal, but in terms of keeping close to the free and pressing when needed to the right back. Yes, it was the right back that he pressed often to. It was very good. He was very good. And the biggest thing about Deveni is that I still think we'll talk about that in a preview, which will be coming out on Wednesday. I still think he starts ahead of Eze starts ahead of him. However, from here till January, it's good that we've got another serious options that we could take off the bench because we don't have that much depth. And he was brilliant. I thought defensively and going forward with the goal as well. I'm proud. Like it looks like he's comfortable to play in the Premier League. Right?
Yeah, I noted down he had there's 2 things when a player's breaking through. I think centre midfield is a really hard position to break through. I think normally fullback and wing is probably the easiest to break through. But physically, he looks like he can play in the Premier League. Like you said, tactically, his football IQ, he knew exactly where to press, when to press. and his energy, the sprint for his goal. If you watch it, he's quick. That was not slow running there. He was running like an athlete, and then he showed quality after like an 80-meter sprint to still finish. Was great composure. 91% pass completion. I think he had the least amount of touches in the team, only 20 touches in the game. But yeah, I can't fault his performance. 8 out of 10.
It was effective though. Those 20 touches, it felt effective, and I think it's more about
quality over quantity.
Exactly. Our possession is very good. I thought our possession is very good. So it's like the small stuff that the stats may not pick up. So yeah, Alan saying took the goal brilliantly as it was his weak foot. Daniel saying Devaney has to play in front of Kamada until Kamada sorts himself out. Yeah, I don't think that's even up for debate at this point because Kamada really hasn't been playing well. So right now, I think Devaney is taking his spot up the ladder anyways. Buddha saying eye test over stats all day long. Exactly. And the eye test for Devaney shows that, he was very good. So I don't know exactly.
I think he could do a job in the right 10 as well.
Potentially, you reckon?
Yeah, I think he could do it. I'm not saying he's the
I don't know if he will.
He's the answer.
I don't know if Glasner will play him in that position. That's the thing. I don't know if he will. But maybe.
Just his left foot. I feel like he's got the attributes to play there.
The thing is, the reason why I don't think Glasner will be playing him anyways going forward, maybe for the Newcastle game, is because of Sarr. Let's talk about Sarr. I gave him a 8.5. I wanted to give him a 9. Don't ask me why I didn't give him a 9. I thought he had a very good game, his best game since joining the club. And the reason for that is because they were spacing behind, and we've known it all along. Sarr joining the football club, he has pace, and finally, without team sitting back with a high line, I think that suits Sarr's game the most. And we saw it. He was very effective in this game. Of course, he scored a goal, which was fantastic. And it was just, all around. He caused a nightmare for Villa defenders. And it was excellent. It was excellent. And this was needed from him.
I gave him a 9. He was great goal, assist, even though there was a bad touch just before. So he was lucky with that assist. He was a constant threat. I would have given him a 10 if he'd scored the volley. That was a bit of composure there. I feel like he could have taken that down. The high line suited him. We played to his strengths, which helped. And I just give him man the match just due to the output, a goal and an assist. They're the most important things.
He needs to carry this forward. Because going into the Villa game, I was thinking, I'm looking at players that are in this squad, especially with the lack of numbers that we have going forward. And I was looking at Sarr. Like, he needs to perform. The last 2 games, for me, has been a bit disappointing against Wolves and Fulham before the Villa game, especially with Wolves, because I think
that hurt his confidence, that Wolves game.
Yeah. What was that?
I think the Wolves game hurt his confidence, those missed chances.
Yeah, it did, because he could have scored a hat-trick, an easy hat-trick, to be fair.
And then he took it into the Fulham game.
Yeah, and in Fulham game, we didn't see the best out of him. But it's good to have that option again, because we just need everyone to perform at the levels till we bring in more recruitments over in January. Last player to talk about in starting 11 is Mateta. I thought he had a very good game. Literally, he was unbelievable.
8.5.
So much. Yeah. I gave him an 8 because I gave Sarr like an 8.5, 9. So I don't think he had the same level, because of course Sarr's got a goal and assist. But overall, his first touch, the amount of times he dribbled past defenders and caused them.
I was thinking his dribbling's got so much better.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
where's it come from?
He's improved a lot. And his dribbling's got better. His first touch has got better. And overall, his IQ, like his vision of the game, like what's demanded of him up front. So he had a very good game despite not scoring. Without Mateta, I don't know if he creates some chances or calls them as many threats.
The weight of pass for the assist. I think he won 4 out of 5 ground draws, and he nearly got a second assist for a Schlups one, where he held the ball up and laid it off for him. So that was nearly 2 assists. So I feel like he's one of our most important players at the moment. Yeah.
I think it was great. By the way, there's apparently a third consortium that involves Morgan Stanley sports executive, Bajan Ismaili, former Rock Nation attorney executive, and Saudi businessman Haidar and Manor Saeed have also been privately confirmed as interested parties. So there's so much going on. There's like former Rock Nation people, you got Saudi businessmen, who are involved as well. So there's all types of consortiums right now interested in buying Palace. I guess more will be confirmed as the week goes on. But the way that this Monday started, it seems like it's going to be a very busy week. And it seems like things are progressing well in that aspect in terms of John Textor moving away from the club. Let's quickly wrap this up because we've been here for a while. The bench, 2 players. Lerma came on.
I give him a 5.5, 6. Good, 89% pass completion. Not much time for impact, but he slotted in well for Decore. Nice to see him back as well. We're going to need him as well.
Yeah, we're going to need him, especially off the bench. And then Schlupp.
5, just for he nearly scored, but he was dribble part twice, lost 2 duels, and give the ball away as soon as he came on, and then he went up the other end and scored. He needs to go in January, I think.
Yeah, it feels like one of those options coming off the bench where you're bringing him off the bench for the sake of bringing him off the bench. It's not like any real impact. Nathaniel Klein, for example, came on for Ismail Assar 90th minute, but look at some of the options that other teams in the Premier League have coming off the bench. And I do think injuries play a part to it, because if you have like a fit as you have Wharton, for example, then you might have Lerma and Hughes coming off the bench, and it's better than what
you have Nketiah coming on.
Yeah, exactly.
Kamada coming on.
Yeah, so that also plays a part 100% in this game. But overall, I do think we need to get past the likes of Schlupp, in my opinion. As much as I love Wardy, either Wardy or Klein, one of them two as well, because you do want experience there. But yeah, it's just like you just have these players for the sake of having these players on the bench, and they're not going to really cause a major impact to the team.
Yeah.
So
I like the fact Richards is back as well, because it gives Chalobah competition, because I don't want players to just feel like they're automatically starting.
Yeah, Riyadh should be coming back soon as well. Well, I think he's starting training this week, or starting
back training now.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess it'll take a bit longer because he's been out for 13 weeks, but that's going to look better. Imagine having Riyadh and Richards as a defensive options off the bench.
Might give some of the guys who have been on the bench a chance to go out on loan in January as well.
Yeah. Twist is saying apparently Glasner will be heavily backed in January. How true is this? Well, I can't confirm.
Proofs in the pudding.
Sure, but I do think he'll be backed. And that's because we don't want to lose Glasner, because if we lose Glasner, it's not going to look good on the board. The amount of managers that come and go, and it's like you look at the window, you look at some of the players that were brought in. So I think they're going to listen to Glasner. They're going to try match his demands, and I think he'll be back in January. So I won't be. I
think the first thing that needs to happen, as well as transfer windows, he needs a new deal.
You reckon? Do you reckon he didn't get a new deal because of where we are right now?
Yeah, I feel like I think to have Glasner a long time would be to show loyalty when his stocks aren't really high.
But I wonder if Glasner wants that right now.
Yeah, he might not.
That's another.
Maybe after he's heavily backed in January.
Yeah, maybe, exactly. Maybe he needs that assurance from the football club to say, you know what, like, look, I wasn't happy in summer. Maybe we need to back him in January and say, look, my bad, we got things wrong. And he might be open to signing another deal then, because it seemed like he wasn't really happy with what we've done over the summer. So yeah, it goes both ways, I guess. Daniel saying it sounds like all interested parties are making their interest known. Fingers crossed we accept the best group for Palace, 100%. George saying, honestly, with people coming back from injury, the second half of the season could be what we saw at the end of last season. I think we do still need to sign a few players, but if we do sign a few players, I do think, this Palace side pick up more results because the performances haven't been that bad. But look, that's it from us. If you have enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe, and let us know your comments in the comment section down below. We spoke about quite a few stuff, the player ratings, transfer news, as well as a new potential ownership group taking over at Palace. As always, we'll be here reacting to all the latest news live on here. Match preview, opposition preview, reaction, watch alongs, everything is coming through. So make sure to keep your eyes peeled for those and notifications on. But that's it from me and Lou. And until next time, up the Palace.